School diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. Well, good morning. This is Pete Ferguson, BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools. Joined here again. I guess Harrison he's coming back making a cameo this week after we had Rico last week. But no, good morning, Harrison. How you doing?
Not too bad. You know, I don't know. I've been paying attention to the Chicago Bears, but I'm feeling pretty good. A franchise quarterback. What a feeling. Who would have thought, right?
Oh my goodness. He's got to say that as I come in with all the pride. I heard you ask that the last segment, and you're like, okay, who do the Minnesota Vikings have? And then I was like, come on, he's got to say the Cowboys. And they came out in that letter jacket, and I was just like, man, how am I gonna fall? I'm gonna have to do a whole hour on the Cowboys. But yeah, got the Vikings this week, and so excited about that. And hopefully they can rebound after dealing with what's his name, and I don't even want to say his name in Green Bay.
Yeah, Rodgers. It's it's in a sick way. It's kind of felt good to watch their downfall a little bit after them just beating down the Bears for so long. But the Cowboys, just they can something about the Packers and the Cowboys.
Hey, I'm still going America's team. Stay tuned for the post. AD gave me some love this week. I said I am going to stay dedicated. So you're going to have the baby picture post up here right after we leave here today. I'm going in strong. We're winning the division, and we're going to the Super Bowl this year. So I got a bunch of laughs here in the studio. I'm not sure if I'm feeling real warm and welcome, but no, hey, great day. Appreciate everybody tuning in and being back, and looking forward to having some exceptional guests here a little bit later on. But just, kind of recap the week. It's been a busy week, kind of transition in that season. I know Husker football went on yesterday. Again, just one of those, I guess it's kind of the tail is just another close one, and just, an opportunity that kind of slipped through the fingers, but can't deny what Coach Joseph and the rest of the crew are doing on senior night. That's, you want to honor and recognize those individuals that put that time and effort in. So congratulations to the seniors, and, whatever their next journey might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, one thing about Mickey Joseph, you do feel good about the kid's psyche.
Yeah.
It feels like, no one's given up on that team. It feels like they're all still a family. So that's something about Mickey Joseph that, even the season's been bumpy, you feel good about that part.
Well, you look at that fact. I mean, I always talk about you want to feel like, see that people feel respected, valued, and loved. And I think that's happening. And so, again, it's kind of that transition season. You got basketball going on. You got the volleyball tournaments going on. Not only just, that ended obviously for high school here locally, but I got the opportunity this last week and talking about senior night, experienced that about a couple weeks ago. And then daughter and her team at Northwest Missouri State got a bid to go to the national tournament, and third time in the school's history, second time in a row, and that was exciting. People always, the outcome. They ended up losing in the first round, and people are like, "Oh man, are you sad about that? It didn't end the way you wanted." And I always kind of tell people, unless you win a national championship, it doesn't end the way you wanted it to end.
Exactly.
Nobody puts a goal and say we're going to go to second round, and then 3 years later we're going to go to the next round and the last round. So, I just want to take a point of privilege and just say, extremely proud of her and her journey. This is her. Technically, she's a junior, but they had a COVID year, and so she's looking at her options and what that journey looks like for her. But Jaden Ferguson went to Lincoln Southwest and got to play Nebraska Juniors and OSA and a couple different things. And just we're extremely, her and her mom we're extremely proud of her and all she's accomplished, but also what that team at Northwest Missouri State accomplished as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Pete said, we're also gonna have some great guests in here for today. So if you guys have any comments, you want to chime in here, hit up the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, or you can call in at the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Same number, 402-464-5685. And yeah, we also got state high school football coming up.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting privileged up here. I get to shout out my hometown again. Cedar Catholic is going to the state championship game.
They got some NIL deals going on down there at Cedar Catholic. All of a sudden, there's a resurgence of the, Cedar Catholic. I mean, NIL deals. There's like 6 transfers from Lincoln. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one, I believe it's a Wednesday morning C2. So I think it's going to be 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. kickoff. So I'll probably be trying to get down to that one. And support my hometown and my, the school I grew up in. So shout out to Cedar Catholic. I mean, they just won state volleyball. And now they have a chance to win state football. So girls and guys both, it's just an athletic class and they're all committed. So it's awesome to see.
He said athletic class, not a powerhouse. I was after you to say, it's the dynasty begins here, at Cedar Catholic. Just put that on the moniker when people start coming in. But when you talked about that, Parkview Christian here locally, got their first state championship in football. And so congratulations to them. I think as we look, we've got the, Class A matchup. I think we'll have Westside and Gretna again. That's a rematch from the game that was not played allegedly last year. So we'll see. Somebody's going to put back-to-back shirts together, and then that's going to be real interesting, maybe.
Yeah, the players got to keep the medals, though, so they know. They know in their hearts, at least.
Well, the cool part is like both teams could put back-to-back shirts and have them ready to go and then throw them out. I'm just waiting for that to happen. So, hey, if you got that idea from me, go roll with it. I know there's a couple printing companies that might go ahead and move forward. Also with that, we've got a couple different things as far as like middle school athletics are kind of in full swing. There's a lot of parents out there doing that with the basketball, and then we got the wrestling, and we had some people on with congratulations at Northeast. I know they hired their first women's wrestling coach out there, and so they're ready to kick off the season, and that's going to be a tremendous asset to just the community, not just at Northeast, but just Class A, having female wrestling and that opportunity, and what that state tournament will look like at CHI. I think in February, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it was 2 weeks ago you had some of the girl wrestlers come in here, and like you said, it's one of those things where it's not like anyone has any problems with it. It's just new, and when you have that new thing, there's a little bit of hesitation, and if for any reason, right or wrong. So to see that more representation, it just kind of opens the door a little more in my mind. You might have more people get interested, so it's great to see that. But before we go to break here, do you got anything else you kind of want to highlight before we get into our guests as well?
Yeah, I just want to, I think AD has been doing a lot of shout outs. So I said, we're going to challenge y'all, get some new addition here on the opening for the music. Also it was National Adoption Day yesterday. And so I was informed by one of our guests, and that's really something that means something to me. I'm actually adopted. And so my parents are Howard and Alita Ferguson, but had the good privilege of being picked by them. And so just want to acknowledge that for those who are involved in the foster care system process and doing that. Really a congratulations and just appreciation. And then, I just want to, just really want to recognize we've had some tragedies here in the last couple weeks. And Virginia, the 3, scholars who were murdered. Nothing else you can say about that, but, were recognized yesterday. And that's just a tremendous, when we talk about sports talk and something bigger than the game, really recognizing that, but then wake up this morning and, there was a shooting in Colorado. And so right now, I believe it's 5 dead and 18 and don't want to be somber in regards to it, but just, we're better than that. And so just really want to take time to recognize those losses, but also recognize that at the end of the day, let's be bigger than what that score is, and have equity, civility, kindness, and justice for one another, and what that looks like. So, we'll turn and focus on, like you said, some excellent individuals here who will kind of provide some hope and instill, what that value is in one another with our guests. But just want to take a moment and make sure that we honor and recognize those challenges those families have experienced by losing somebody here in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of just one of those things where it's awful, but it makes you kind of step back and appreciate what you have. You just never know, what that next day is going to be. It just crazy tragedies happen all the time. And you really do got to step back every now and, say I have it good. There's a lot of good things happening, and just appreciate the people around you that support you and love you. Like you said, National Adoption Day, it doesn't matter. Just find the people that love you and care about you, and really appreciate that. Before we go to break here, though, why don't you go ahead and kind of run down what this order is going to be on who we got coming up here?
Yeah, we've got, again, some tremendous individuals that cover a wide range. I'd say multi-involved for our scholars. And so we've got a scholar. I'm going to let them introduce themselves when they get on board. But scholars from North Star High School and Lincoln High. And then we've also got some educators as well as coaches and sports enthusiasts. I'll put that there. Don's looking at me like, I don't coach. He's a sports enthusiast. That's what you say for the person that says, well, I like to do the stats. But we have some educators in the house as well today. And so looking forward to having both of them, Don Martinez and also Katie Wentz as well. So stay with us. Bigger Than the Score. This is Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson, BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools. And we'll be back.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee, you slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
You know, the year has been a great year for Aspen Builders. We have had many repeat customers, and we worked with a lot of new people building their dream home.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
It's amazing when you go through the building process. Okay, what do I need in this home? I need the 4 bedrooms. I need the woman, or I need the big yard. It's fun to find that perfect lot, design the home, get everything that we need, and then we add those want things. We add the gourmet kitchen, we add the big walk-in pantry. What we try to do is balance a budget with things that you really need in the home. Get items included in this home that you won't find just in any home anymore. So in the end, you've got the perfect place.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Part of that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. Unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina. Our mom will finish her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this.
Mom, we are so high up.
Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we
go. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Awesome, and welcome back to Bigger Than the Score. I'm Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC at Lincoln Public Schools, and excited. Got two, we always say that term phenomenal. I'm going to look inspiring, educational, empowering guests here, but hey, if you do want to call in or leave thoughts or comments and you're listening in, turn on that Starter Haven text line. Feel free, or you can give us a call, and he will go ahead and patch it through. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off. We've got, I was going to say Scholar Adon. He's still looking so youthful in here with that gray in his beard, making it happen. But Adon Martinez, who is an educator, he's going to tell us a little bit, and we're actually joined by Scholar Marlena, who is also a multi-involved individual at Lincoln High School. So welcome. Glad to have you guys both here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Hey, Adon, we're just going to kicked off right away with it. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your journey, how you ended up at Lincoln High. Just who is Mr. Martinez?
Sure. So, it's a long story. I started off, I guess, going to Catholic school growing up. From there, I transferred in 7th grade to public school, to Park Middle School. From there, ended up going to Lincoln High as a student, and at Lincoln High, kind of fell apart as a kid and made some bad choices. Then things happened. Ended up transferred to Bryan, the alternative school. From the alternative school, ended up graduating, and after graduation, I had a teacher who encouraged me to fill out a scholarship, and that scholarship completely flipped my entire life and changed everything. That scholarship led me to go to college, SEC, then to UNL, from UNL to Doane, Doane twice. So I've worked for Lincoln Public Schools as a paraeducator. Then as a para, I became a teacher, a special education teacher. Did that for about 5-6 years. Then from there, I went and became a school counselor. That's when I got into Lincoln High. Then from being a school counselor for about 4 years, I became an administrator. So I've kind of had a long road. A lot of things have happened, but I'm pushing forward and just trying to figure out that next step.
Man, with all those steps, I'm going to say next stop superintendent. I'm surprised you didn't throw your name in the hat for that. So no, definitely a tremendous journey. And if you were to say your purpose, what is just your purpose in 3 words or a sentence?
So my purpose is to inspire young educators to take the next steps. Someone tapped me on the shoulder when I was younger to take those next steps, and I feel obligated to help and continue to inspire the next individual so that they can see their purpose, so they can come along this journey.
Love that. Talked about it, empowering and investing in others and pushing that forward.
Absolutely.
Like people did for you as well. We're going to come back to that. We've got multi-involved Scholar Marlena. And Marlena, welcome. But tell us a little bit about who you are. Has Lincoln been your home your entire life? Kind of what has been your educational journey, and then things that you're involved in right now?
All right, perfect. Yeah, so my name's Marlena. I am a senior at Lincoln High School.
Okay, go Lynx now.
Yeah, go Lynx.
We always get that when we have the Lynx in here. I know went to East, but we gotta say go Lynx.
Go Lynx. Yes. So I was born here in Lincoln, and I've lived in Lincoln my whole life. I went to Riley Elementary, which is right on 48th and Orchard, and then Leffler, and then obviously Lincoln High now. In Lincoln High, I'm involved in lots of activities. I'm the president of student council. I am involved in the Young Educators Club that Mr. Martinez is actually one of the sponsors for. I'm in African American Caucus, and I play track, or I run track.
Okay, you're up here making it happen.
Yeah.
So I got to know you a little bit, and some other things. But tell us a little bit, what is your purpose in that 3 words or 1 sentence?
Yeah, so I would say my purpose is just to give hope to younger generations. This is kind of a cliche answer, but I really want to be the person I wish that I had when I was younger, for other younger people. So.
Awesome. So you talked about that, wanted to be the person that, for others that you wish that you had when you were younger. Talk about what that kind of person looks like. I mean, you shared a little bit about your journey here, but what are those characteristics that you embody in yourself that you want other people, that you wish maybe you had growing up?
Right. So I try to really make sure that I am getting other people's perspectives and, putting myself in other people's shoes to really empathize with other people and what they're going through. Also just to be, a friendly face and a great listener to listen to people and what's going on in their life, and if they need anything from me, how I can best serve them.
Wow, powerful. Being that top-notch educator, you can do that in and outside of the classroom. So definitely you embody that. It's the time I've gotten to get to know you as well. Adon, tell us a little bit about, like I said, people are like, what's the state of education and this, that, and the other? But you're involved, and Marlena talked about a little bit of just, future educators. And we've had some individuals on talking about like what representation means. Representation matters. Talk a little bit about what you do and why that's important, and the people maybe you've had in your life that have kind of, you said, tapped you on the shoulder to push you forward to be where you're at today.
Sure. So I am involved in RE4L Future Educators Club with Marlena and a group of about 17 other students who all want to become educators, whether that's a teacher, administrator. They all want to take those next steps. They just don't know how to take those next steps. So with the help of Dr. Morales from UNL, she has helped put this together, and we are just taking the next steps. We're actually taking a field trip to Southeast Community College here in about a week or two. Okay. And then from there, we'll take another trip to UNL at the end of the school year. But what it is trying to inspire students to take the next steps and become educators and figure out what their passion is, whether they want to be a history teacher, an administrator, or maybe an educator like Mr. Pete Ferguson.
Okay, I appreciate that shout out there. I don't know if they want to go that far, but hey, we always talk about those A's. Talk about you talked a little bit about how you're providing access to different things, like Southeast Community College and UNL, and again, shout out to Dr. Amanda Morales, who's just been a tremendous champion over the years to make sure that scholars get that opportunity for education. But when you advocate, what does that look like, and what should that look like for others? Whether it's going into teaching, whether it's going into athletics, whether it's just going into being a good father or mother?
I guess for me, it's seeing that student, that teacher, and help them push and help them take the next steps in figuring out what direction they want to go, and to make sure that you can continue to inspire them and help them make the next steps, because maybe they don't know how to take it. As like for me, for example, as a kid, I didn't know how to become a teacher. I didn't know how to do that. I was planning on graduating and going to work in a factory with my dad. But when that teacher, Mr. John Glow, Color Middle School, when he, I guess, encouraged me to apply for that scholarship, I didn't realize that was going to change everything for me. Just that little scholarship that another teacher or educator pushed me to fill out that scholarship. And that just opened the door to everything, to education.
Awesome. Well, you're bigger than the Score with Pete Ferguson, BHS, LLC, and Lincoln Public Schools. And I'm joined here with Adon Martinez, who's an educator extraordinaire at Lincoln High School, and Scholar Marlena, who is a senior at Lincoln High School. They always want to do that go Lynx and get up and start doing that chain all the way around. Marlena, talk a little bit about who you've had in your life that's been an advocate or a mentor for you, and what impact that's made.
Right. Okay, so I would say the biggest mentor in my life is my mom. She's always pushed.
You got to shout out your mom now. Go ahead and get her name out there, because I don't want her coming and snatching nobody up like you on the radio and you didn't even say my name. Say her name.
All right, my mom's Stephanie.
All right.
Yeah, she's always pushed me to, she's a single mom. So, just really watching her and, growing with her. She had me when she was 20. So it was just, she's always had a really big impact on my life. And, she's always shown the importance of schooling and making sure that I'm getting a good education and making sure that I go to college. So I definitely say that she has definitely been the person who has pushed me the most. Along my educational career, I've had a lot of teachers who have pushed me as well, just telling me, do you, and you're gonna be able to accomplish great things. And just having that reinforcement of other people believing in me, that's just been really important to me as well, because we all have our bad days, right. And it's just something that keeps me going, keeps me pushing forward. So.
Awesome. So people want to know what's the best part of being a scholar, and you can say it Lincoln High, but the best part of being a scholar in general, and then what is one of the biggest challenges that you think scholars today are facing?
Right. Sorry, I had it. I would say the best part of being a scholar is I would say at Lincoln High is definitely just being able to learn so many perspectives. I know I kind of talked about that earlier, but at Lincoln High, there's so many people from races, cultural backgrounds, sexual orientations. So it's just great I've learned so much about things that I didn't even know existed. So I would say that was the most important thing to me for being a scholar. And then sorry, what was your
The
second
greatest
question?
challenge. What's
Oh,
the greatest
greatest
challenge maybe
challenge.
facing, I don't say young people, but facing scholars in education today?
I would say a really big challenge, especially with COVID that happened. Obviously, we're
Mm.
going through a pandemic, but I would say mental health. I just see it a lot with people, even my friends who are struggling with mental health, and I just think that it's important, like as a schooling system, that we really focus on that and are giving students the resources that they need.
No, I think that's important what you said. And I think we've said it before over and over again. If you need help or somebody to talk to, there's a number of different resources. Reach out to whoever that might be. And if you don't feel they're listening, go to somebody else and go to somebody else. But there are people that will listen. So definitely reach out and get that help. Don, tell us a little bit about what you feel is, as an educator, what is some of the greatest successes or the greatest positives right now going on for educators? Because we hear a lot of people say, it's really tough right now and this, that, and the other. And we get that. And, I have a wife and a mom who did that for 40 years. And then what are some of the greatest challenges? What's one of the challenges you're seeing, you're facing right now?
So I would say one of the positives is you get to be around young scholars all day, every day, and honestly have fun. I get to go to work every day and work with students like Marlena and honestly just support them and help them and inspire them to take the next steps. I always have the reason why I became a high school teacher, an educator, is because I like that next step from high school to college or high school to work or whatever that is, high school to military. And so I want to continue to empower those students to take those next steps and help them figure out what they want to do and what their purpose is. Sorry, what was the last question?
And then what do you see as one of the greatest challenges right now? I don't want to say barriers or obstacles, but just it's a challenge that can be overcome, but it's a real, you're being authentic. It's there right now.
I would say with Marlena, I think mental health has been a big thing coming up, especially after COVID. Once COVID hit, that has been something that we've seen in the schools, and that's something that we're continuing to try to tackle and support. Students with behavior, students ending up in the counseling center, just different things that they are struggling with and trying to figure out, making sure they have the resources they need and support with whether that's counseling, therapy, inside, outside of school, and just trying to help them in school so that they can, get through school.
I think huge all the way around. Again, just can't reiterate enough. If you need support, you need help, talk to somebody, reach out, just tap them on the shoulder. People can give you that. Marlena, tell us a little bit about, like, put out in the universe what who you are, but what you want to be. How can people help you get there? I mean, who's Marlena in 5, 10, 15 years?
Okay, so we kind of talked about it already, but I really want to become a teacher. I'm going to go to college, obviously.
She is taking scholarship. If you want to go ahead and pay for that,
Yeah,
Marlena
that
is
would be
not
amazing.
opposed. I know we mentioned a couple institutions, but she is open to negotiate right now.
Oh, right. Yeah, so obviously I'm looking at UNL. I did apply at Howard. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
And then a school in Denver. But yeah, I'm just really excited for my next steps in college and to get involved there. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to on those next steps?
I really am excited to become a teacher. I love helping people and I love kids. I actually want to become a high school teacher, so I guess I'm a high school student right now.
Okay.
But I'm excited to become a teacher and be there for students. And yeah.
Awesome. Adon, as we get ready to close this segment, tell us just give us some final thoughts to the community on just being an educator or the future educators that you get to work with. What's one thing that you want to put out there in the universe so they know about the education system right now?
So one thing I would say is that people are always looking outside to see where are those educators? Where are they? Are they in Grand Island? Are they in Denver? But you know what? They are right in our schools, right? They are in our schools, like Marlena, who wants to be that teacher, and we just need to continue to prepare them and help them and make sure that they take the next steps. In our equity cadre and our RE4L club, there's about 17 students who want to become educators. So those students will be taking the next steps, going to UNL or wherever that is. What did you say?
Oh, Howard.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay. And so in the next 4 to 5 years, Marlena will be graduating, and we will bring her back to Lincoln High so she can become an educator and walk the halls and continue to inspire that next student. So yeah, they're right in our schools. We just need to continue to help empower them so that they can take the next steps and show them the ropes like someone else did for me.
Awesome. Hey, I want to thank Scholar Marlena. Thank you, and obviously continued success in your senior year. And Mr. Adon Martinez. I was gonna say Mr. Martinez. So those of you in the hall, don't get it twisted. You say Adon, you're gonna be down at the counselor's office. So it's Mr. Martinez. Thank you both for everything that you do, who you are, and what you're about. This is Pete Ferguson with Bigger Than the Score. We'll be back with our next segment here after these breaks.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the On Lap. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of fat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
As a player, what do you think when your coach says they need to recruit better? Do you take it personal? You should. Go ahead, bro.
It should be personally because they're looking at a guy that wants to come in and take your spot. It only makes you play better. We need people here to push these kids to make each other better, not just coaches making them better, but they can make each other better on the field by the competition that they give each other. I think without no competition, kids get relaxed and their positions are never up for grabs.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
How is your job to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
As a player, what do you think when your coach says they need to recruit better? Do you take it personal? You should. Go ahead, bro.
It should be personally because they're looking at a guy that wants to come in and take your spot. It only makes you play better. We need people here to push these kids to make each other better, not just coaches making them better, but they can make each other better on the field by the competition that they give each other. I think without no competition, kids get relaxed and their positions are never up for grabs.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just Alexa, play 93.7 Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Awesome. Welcome back to Bigger Than the Score. I'm Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC and Lincoln Public Schools, and had a fantastic first segment with Scholar Marlena and Adon Martinez, but we're rolling into the second segment. Got the smiley Miss Katie Wentz. I don't think I've ever not seen her smile. And then also at Scholar Abby, who is from Lincoln North Star High School. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Excited to have you both. So, hey, we're just going to get right into it. Katie, tell us a little bit about who you are, your journey. You've got multiple involvements. You're like at 16 different places. So tell us who you are.
I'm Katie Wenz. I'm a school counselor at East High School. I went to Eastridge Elementary, Lux Middle School, and East High School. So I work where I graduated from.
Go Spartans. There you go.
Alum in here. I've kind of taken the scenic route through life. I went through college, didn't really know what I wanted to do. So like Pete knows, I took some time to work at Disney World. So there we go.
The greatest place, was it greatest or happiest? Oh, wait a minute. She gave me that stare down. The happiest place on earth.
Most magical place on earth.
Ooh.
Happiest is California. We got to work on this. Okay.
Easy.
Yeah, we got to work on this. Came back. The last thing I want to do in life was be in education.
Okay.
So that route took me there. I finished at UNL and worked for 4 years out in Arapahoe, Nebraska, which is about 3.5 hours here. The closest Walmart was 45 miles away. So there we go. Everything in town closed by 6.
Makes town official when you got a Walmart there.
Yep. I came back to Lincoln and had the awesome opportunity to coach at high school here in town. I coach at Pius High School.
Okay.
Counselor at East High School. Coach for Nebraska Juniors volleyball. Okay. And wherever they need me to do something at school, I'm there. So I'm usually more active than not. So
you probably cover all 4 quadrants of the city.
I think I do. Yeah. There's some miles put on the cars.
I was going to say, look at you. Well, hey, Scholar Abby's from Lincoln North Star. And so when we said she saw Lincoln High and she heard East and Pius and everything else, she's like, when am I going to get my turn? So Abby, glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your journey.
I'm a junior at Lincoln North Star, and I've always went to school in Lincoln. I went to Freestrom Elementary and SCO Middle School, and at North Star, I played tennis and volleyball.
Fantastic. And so you talked a little bit about, you playing tennis and volleyball. What's your connection with Miss Winst?
During the off season of school volleyball, I played club for Nebraska juniors,
Okay.
and she was my coach this past year. And our team was just really close, and we all really enjoyed Katie as our coach.
Awesome. If you're actually watching online or you're able to even be in the studio, they both share the same smile. So I wonder during tryouts if that was like one of the requirements to get on the team. Does everybody smile like that, or?
Yeah, we actually came up with a nickname for Katie. And we called her Queen Katie.
Oh, Queen Kate. Okay.
But I had to wear the crown, so they made it
Wow.
for me. So it felt really popular.
Awesome.
So you got a bench with a big crown on.
Well, hey, tell us a little bit about just you talked about you're involved in sports and various things. What has that been like? Where did that start? Was that something, high school, I want to play, or was it something like kind of from birth you were like, I am going to be an athlete?
It was always since I was really young. I had an older brother and sister who both played volleyball and tennis. And so watching them, always been involved, always got dragged to their games.
Okay.
And so when it's finally my turn, I was knew I wanted to do it.
Okay. So tell us, what sports did you play? I know a lot of people say, well, specialize in one sport when you're younger and this, that, and the other. So you talked about a variety of different sports. What sports have you been involved in, and which one was your favorite?
I played soccer when I was really little. I also played basketball up until middle school, and volleyball for my whole life. And then tennis kind of picked up when I was a little older. But my favorite, probably volleyball, just because I've done it the longest.
Okay. Fantastic. So, Katie, you talked about the various things that you're involved in as from a coaching aspect and education. What are some of the things that, I say characteristics that are needed in that realm, and which one do you think is kind of like your strength?
As a player or coach, what I'm looking for?
You know what? I think let's go as a coach.
As a coach, just somebody who it's not always about the X's and O's. The best piece of advice I ever got my first few years of coaching was don't worry about the wins and losses. If you win over the kids, you'll get wins and losses. So that was the best advice. I think my girls can tell you now, as well as in club, that relationships matter. And so when they walk into school every day, if I can't tell on their face how their day's been, then I haven't done something successful. So as a coach, it's not about the wins and losses for me. It's about the kids and what they can do to be successful. Awesome. As a coach for players, I look for kids who are just willing to try something different. I've been blessed with some great athletes, and my goal for you is to make you a better athlete, but a better person. And by doing that, if you're coachable, dependable, reliable, then you're probably going to be on my team.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I do as a coach. I think even in education, relationships is the number one thing I have to work towards.
Well, tell us a little bit about your athletic journey. I know your family a little bit, so my connection with you and your dad has been kind of longstanding. But what was your journey in athletics?
I swam and played volleyball in high school. Okay. I actually swam out at Kearney.
Okay.
So my volleyball experience at East, I was one of the kids that was.
Hang on, what is a loper?
I don't know.
Okay, just checking.
Just
checking from somebody at Northwest.
Antelope?
I know what a bearcat is, but anyways, go ahead. I got sidetracked.
So volleyball actually wasn't my primary sport.
Okay.
So I was a really good person who supported my team. I didn't get a lot of playing time, so I kind of swore it off. And then I just had some people that were important in my life, opened a door, and I found a love for it again. So I grew up swimming and volleyball. My dad was a basketball official for years, so I was drugged to a lot of games, and after a while he put me at the scores table and said, you're working the bench. And so as long as I had money for a hot dog and some Starburst, I was doing good. So it's actually his birthday today, so happy birthday.
Oh, go ahead and throw his name out there.
Hey Mike, happy birthday. You're more than welcome to take me to lunch today.
There you go. On your birthday, you're welcome to take her to lunch.
But one of the things growing up, every sport my parents had us involved in, and it was one of those things, if you start it, you finish it. You might not like it at the end. So I think that's one of the things is maybe we don't do with kids as much anymore, is you're going to try soccer and stick with it. If it doesn't come easy, that's fine. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable with what's comfortable, uncomfortable. So that's kind of my perspective. I love multi-sport athletes and multi-sport athletic attempts. So that's kind of my experience with sports.
I love the two things you said of just be comfortable being uncomfortable,
Mhm.
which is a lot of times we don't allow not just young people, but also adults
Agree.
as parents to do is, your kid doesn't have to be top notch or, they're not going to be the fully developed one in 5th or 6th grade. And then I think multiple attempts. I love individuals that you said, like individuals who do multiple attempts. Doesn't necessarily mean involved, but multiple attempts at it says a lot as well.
Absolutely.
Abby, so tell us, we got Miss Wentz here giving some shout outs. So I want to make sure that happens for you. Who are some people that, have been important in your life and that you want to thank? And you talked about your siblings, but who are some other people that have impacted you in your journey?
I definitely say just like my whole family, my mom, dad, brother, and sister. Like they've always pushed me to do things that I may not always want to do. Like I didn't always want to play soccer and I didn't always want to play basketball, but they made me stick with it.
Right.
And like even though like I didn't end up continuing it in high school, it helped me get better in all my other sports now. And also my coaches in high school have been really supportive and like taught me lots of new things to like continue growing as a person, not just an athlete.
Right. And I like that. And so I want you to brag on yourself a little bit. Okay. So what makes you an ideal teammate in person to be around?
I really like to be a leader on the court and like tell people like I'm not afraid to tell them when they're wrong, but I'll be their biggest fan when they're like do something right. And that's really big for me. I really like being told corrections and not just all the sunshines and rainbows. Like I like to get real with them, tell them like, hey, this is like wrong, but also have the supporters there when it is right.
So I think the cool part is you like to invest in people's development. And so like always times you say, well, you're going to tell me the wrong and tell me the right. No, I'm always going to invest in you. So whether that's when you need correction, when you need to be challenged, but also when you're doing really, really well. And then you like that as well. So I admire that in you. What are kind of some of your like aspirations at, post high school?
I know I want to go to college. I just don't know where. I've always said I want to get away from home.
Okay.
For some reason. And go.
Wait, sorry, mom. My dad probably like, my baby just thanked me and now she wants to run. Yeah. I mean, come on, say that a little bit softer. That came kind of quick right after the mentors, but go ahead.
And I want to go somewhere warm.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the winters, but I don't know if I want to play volleyball or tennis or like what I want to do with that, but I'm trying to figure that out this year.
Well, we're going to say, mom, she wants to go not because of you or the siblings or dad. She wants to go because it's somewhere warm. That's understandable. So I appreciate that. She can come back home now. Yeah. So, Katie, talk to us a little bit about mentors in your, professional career or personal and professional career.
A lot of my mentors are coaches, even current coaches right now. I took over for Jake Moore. That was some big shoes to fill. And I'm reminded of that a lot.
Yeah, the legendary Jake Moore who resurfaced. He's back at Marion. So,
but we got him this year.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he's kind of one I can always go and talk to. Actually, Abby's high school coach, Christy Hitz.
Yes.
There's many times during the season I still call her and say I need some help. I think a lot of kids have been a mentor, and I think that's sometimes weird to say, but their feedback is super important to me because I'm not the one out there digging the balls. I'm not the one out there doing the stuff. I've never won a game coaching high school because I'm not on the court.
Right.
So I think the kids have been my mentors and just people who are just pushing me along. There's many jobs I applied for that I didn't get. And so I could have easily quit, but people said you have awesome ideas. You just need a little more practice and knowledge. And so I think anybody who's called me out on the positives and also called me out on the negatives have been huge mentors to me. That's not going to come easy. And if it is, it's not worth it. So that answer your question?
Yeah, no,
just anybody who I can just pick up the phone and say, I'm struggling. What do I do next?
Wow.
How can I do something? But those probably two, Christy Hitz and Jake Moore, just being able to pick up the phone. Probably not after a game where I beat Marion, I pick up the phone and call. But
you just go to the sideline and be like, "Hey, you want to talk?
You want to send me that film for the game?
Yeah, can we just like hug it out?
Yeah,
right. No.
But I know this adults, and again, I go back to the kids. Sometimes they teach me more than what I need to know because they're the ones doing it every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you, Nebraska Juniors, and different things. I have, it's a fond place in my heart. My daughter got to experience you as a coach, but also the program as a whole. So just tell us a little bit about, what they offer, what, as you go into the winter season, and kind of we talked about that transition of volleyball, but it seems like volleyball never stops in Nebraska.
No, it doesn't. It does not. Nebraska juniors, we have teams as young as 10 years old, trainings, competition, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Elementary teachers, you're great humans.
Yep.
Elementary is a different world, but then we have 15, 16, 17, 18s. One of the things we pride ourselves on is multi-sport athletes. We offer competition, training, special, a lot of coaches across high school realm. The kind of cool thing with Nebraska juniors is even though I'm your coach, you're going to work with all coaches. Right. So they get to know every single person. And I think just in the world of athletics, the more coaches you can have, the more you can learn. And the knowledge that comes from that is huge. So I've done it for 8 years. We have some opportunities. We've gone to Florida. I go to Sunshine State to play, and
to the happiest, most magical place
yes,
on earth.
You're right. And I always say we're gonna go. Maybe I want to go more for Disney. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a great opportunity too to get kids out of their comfort zone. Right. And you see teams from South Dakota, California, out of country. Mexico. We've always seen it, and so. Just those opportunities are huge, and that the fact that their parents support them through that. And also maybe kids who can't financially do club, because let's be real, club sports are expensive. There's opportunities that we can help you get that point, and that's something that we can always talk about. So I think this is support for kids.
Thanks. And I think that's one of the important things that I've really liked about the program, and just knowing that is it's a no excuse opportunity. So right. Whether it's financial, whether it's just experience, the Nebraska Juniors provides an opportunity for scholars at every level, right. Whether it's not just the teams, but also the opportunities just to get development and what that might look like.
And keeping it competitive too.
Yeah. Awesome. So Abby, tell us what you want. I talked to Marlena earlier about what is one of the greatest things about being a scholar right now, and then what are one of the biggest challenges?
I think one of the greatest things is like meeting all the new people and all the new classes. Like there are classes that you take at school that you can have freshmen in, that you can have seniors in, that you can have sophomores in. So you just get to meet all people from all different grades, and it's not limited to like, oh, I have 20 kids in my class. Those are 20 kids I'm going to see all day. I like going from like class to class, meeting new kids.
Awesome. And the greatest challenge?
Like she said, COVID was really hard, like adjusting from Zoom, halftime, going back to school full time. Sometimes the week just drags on, and it's hard to, like, I've noticed kids like not having motivation to do their schoolwork, and then with all the missing assignments like pile up.
Awesome. So you got a lot of adults in here. And real quickly, tell us what's one thing you want to put out to adults or just your peers of saying as a piece of advice?
Just always be yourself and don't change for anybody.
Fantastic. Katie?
You always have more. Dig deep.
Wow, I like that. Hey, again, I want to thank both of you for joining us today on Bigger Than the Score. I'm Pete Ferguson with Peter Ferguson, BHS LLC, and Lincoln Public Schools. And as I always kind of end, I always say Maya Angelou says, I often forget what people have said. I've forgotten what people have done, but I always remember how people have made you feel. So go out and make sure that people feel the way they need to, respected, valued, and loved this week. Again, thank you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.